Hello and welcome back to Ritual Audio. Today we're taking a look at the Line 6 DL4 MkII, the successor to the original Line 6 DL4 which came out in 2009. This version features secret reverbs, 15 new models as well as all of the legacy models, the same classic looper, and a nice sturdy aluminium casing. I'll be playing my trusty Vintera 250 Strat through the Nembrini Audio Jazz Amp. Let's get to it. First up is the vintage digital model. This is a Line 6 original that's based on the 80s rack mount digital delay units. Tweak will adjust the bit depth from 6 to 24 bits, and Tweeze will adjust the modulation. We start to bring down the bit depth now. See, at first it just starts to color the tone a little bit, make it more bassy. If we get really extreme though, you'll start hearing, the kind of bit crunch. And we can play with the tweeze too, which is going to adjust the modulation. Just turn that bit crunch down a little bit. Moving on, we've got crisscross. This is a combo of two digital delays, A and B, which are panned hard left and hard right. Tweak is going to adjust the time independently for delay B, and Tweeze is going to adjust the crossfeed between the two delays. So let's see how that sounds. Start to adjust the time of delay B now with Tweak. And we can start to adjust the crossfeed amount. Let's go extreme at first. Moving on to Euclidean. This is another Line 6 original, based of course on Euclidean sequencers. In this model, Tweak is going to adjust the step fill. So using Euclidean math, this evenly fills the sequence with repeats. And Tweeze is going to adjust rotate, which fills forward within the sequence by the same amount. Things can get pretty out there. Turn the tweeze full and the tweak to 0. And now we'll bring the tweak up. And move on to dual delay. So tweak in this model is going to adjust the time for the right delay, and tweeze is going to adjust the amount of repeats for the right delay. So we're going to start with both on 0 for now. We're not running in stereo, so you're not going to be able to benefit from that. However, I do find with the original Line 6 DL4, I seem to recall the stereo setting. If you ran it in mono like I am here, you could get some really interesting rhythmic results. So let's try that. Obviously in stereo this is going to be incredibly lush. Move on to pitch echo, another Line 6 original. Tweak is going to adjust the pitch interval from -13 to +13 semitones. And tweeze is going to adjust the fine sense from -50 to +50. So let's try it with both all the way down first. Now, one thing that is nice with this particular setting is we can adjust the fine sense just slightly. Almost get that kind of cocktail twins thing if you were to pan one hard right with about +10 cents. And then if you were to hard pan to the left, -10 cents, together across the same track, you get that really big, nice stereo sound. Of course, we can try, we'll put the fine sense back and we'll try and catch some of the nice semitone settings. Almost turn it into a harmonizer. We turn the mix all the way up. There's that an octave. Tracking's not so great on it, maybe want to play single notes. Moving on, we've got ADT, another Line 6 original which is based on the automatic double tracking devices, sometimes known as artificial double tracking. Repeats is going to adjust the wow and flutter. Tweak is going to adjust tape saturation and distortion, and tweeze is going to adjust the modulation depth. So lots of nice things to play around with on this one. Let's check it out. If we turn the tweak up, we'll get that nice saturation. Certainly not bad for a digital sort of saturation sound. Let's bring some wow and flutter back in again. A little bit less. And we're just going to bring the modulation depth down too. Actually a really fun distortion sound. I would use that quite a lot. Maybe not distortion, but you know. Just back it off as well. It just adds a certain juiciness to the tone, which is nice. Moving on, we've got Duct, which is based on the TC Electronic 2290 dynamic digital delay. In this model, tweak will adjust the threshold value, and tweeze is gonna adjust the duckings, attack, and release together at the same time. Maybe bring the threshold down. And you'll see as you bring the threshold over to the left, the delay will start to come in, you know, easier, if you will. You can mess with the attack and release as well. This is really helpful if you've got a busy mix and you don't want the delay to swamp your tone. Moving on, we have another Line 6 original, Harmony. Tweak is going to select the key chromatically from A to G sharp, and tweeze is going to select between 8 pitch modes, which consist of a bunch of preset pitched intervals. We'll see how the tracking is on this. That is actually really fun. Let's play with the tweeze. Gonna get maybe less fun. One of those models where you might pull this phase a lot. Leave it at 12 o'clock for now, and we'll mess with the tweeze to change the key. Turn the repeats up slightly, and let's just change the time of that. See, if you start to play more than a single note at the same time, the tracking is going to go a little bit wild. That's nice. I can imagine using that. Lots of happy accidents I would find in this one. We're going to move on to Heliosphere. This is another Line 6 original, a stereo delay mixed with some nice modulation and a long washed out reverb. Tweak is going to adjust the reverb's mix and decay from none all the way through to 100% wet, and Tweeze is going to adjust the modulation depth. So let's start with the reverb off and just listen to the delay. Slowly start to bring the reverb in. You know, if you're in a post-rock band or an ambient band or a worship band, it's a good sound. Bring modulation up and maybe the reverb up as well. Yeah, Heliosphere is a nice one. It's nice. Okay, we move on to Transistor. This is based on the Maestro EP3. Tweak is going to adjust the headroom range, and Tweeze is going to adjust treble cut or boost. See if it does the self-oscillation thing if we turn repeats up. It does. It's a good start. Moving on to Cosmos. This is based on the Roland Space Echo RE201. Tweak is going to adjust the active heads, and Tweeze is going to adjust both wow and flutter, increasing to the right and decreasing to the left. Got to be careful with this model. It does sort of do that, I guess, artificial self-oscillation quite quickly. Turn the wow and flutter up with Tweeze. think this is a really nice model tone-wise. I don't quite think it does the pitching or the self-oscillation too well. It doesn't do it badly, better than some, just not as good as others. We're going to move on to Multipass, which is another Line 6 original. This is a multi-tap style delay with some automatic filtering. So Tweak is going to choose from among 8 different tap patterns, and Tweeze is going to adjust the mode between delay or echo. Delay over on the left. We'll bring it over to echo on the other side. Change the pattern. We'll switch it back to delay actually. I think I prefer that. Move on to Adriatic, which is based on a modded Boss DM2. That's the Ben Adrian modded version. Tweak is going to adjust the modulation rate, and Tweeze is going to adjust the modulation depth. Turn the modulation rate right up. And we're going to turn the depth up too a little bit. And now we're going to turn the rate down. See if we can push this one into sort of an analog self-oscillation. Certainly can. Doesn't sound bad at all. Move on to Elephant Man, which is based on the classic Electro Harmonix Deluxe Memory Man. Tweak is going to adjust modulation depth, and Tweeze is going to change between chorus and vibrato. Start to bring the modulation in. We're currently on the chorus. Change it over to vibrato. Do some self-oscillation with this model too. Quite a well-behaved self-oscillation. Step back over to chorus. And we'll move on to, last but not least, glitch, which is another Line 6 original. Tweak is going to determine how octaves are applied to your repeats. Tweeze is going to adjust the slice feedback, sequence drift, and shuffle in tandem with more of each applied as you turn the knob to the right. Add more octaves in. Tweak knob. Now let's add some slice feedback. Take some octaves out. Very experimental. Thank you very much for joining me on this exploration of the Line 6 DL4. There's still a ton of settings to go through at some point in the future. You've got the legacy delays, you've got the looper, of course, which will be a video all on its own, and even the secret reverbs, which are very fun. I actually avoided this pedal for a long time. When it was first released, it was absolutely plagued with bugs, and upon purchasing it, I can confirm it was plagued with bugs. Indeed, it wasn't just internet conjecture. Line 6 did, however, release a firmware update in October 2024, which fixed all of those bugs. Before I'd updated the firmware, the looper would kind of change timing, sometimes just outright switch off. There'd be clicks and pop sounds. It was noisy. I would have thought that was a component issue, but the firmware seems to have fixed that as well. I do think this is a great pedal. I don't think it holds up like the original Line 6 DL4 did, basically just because competition on the market now. This is definitely an upgrade. It's got a nice aluminium case. The switches especially feel a lot better. Obviously more features. I think they could have implemented reverb better, but that is just a nice extra. Maybe if each reverb wasn't tied to each delay model, that would be nice. You know, maybe if there was a way to choose them, like on the RE202. The looper, as I mentioned, I will get into in a later video, is extremely fun. You could basically lose hours on that. Overall, it's definitely a worthwhile purchase. I'll be keeping it. Thank you for joining me today as I just took the first quick look through some of the sounds. Please consider liking and subscribing and commenting on this video below if you like to see more content like this. I'll catch you on the next one.